Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm back with another video today and I hope you've had a wonderful day wherever you are. Just a quick update. I finished school, did my exams, got my results back and went really well and I'm really happy with myself, so that's good. So I'm on holidays at the moment, heading to Melbourne for Christmas, and I'm heading to the Falls Festival, which is a music and arts festival over the new year, which will be amazing. One of my New Year's resolutions is going to be that I post videos a lot more often. I'm going to try and both blog and post videos more often, hopefully on a Sunday if it works out. So I'm hoping that I'll be more active on social media next year. I'm going to really try and keep that resolution because I really want to get this message out there and help those of you who I can. So I'm going to make this video today, and very soon it's going to be the start of a new year and we're going to try and start afresh, and I have lots of ideas for different blog posts and videos and all that jazz. Today I want to talk about something that I really recently blogged about. I just posted last night a post called From Anorexia to Binge Eating, the Importance of Mental Hunger, and I want to make a video on this today because I really think it's really prevalent and it really needs to be talked about, and I haven't really talked about it before because it's actually been something just quite recent that's really become important in my life. It's really just become really important for me in recent kind of weeks and months. So basically I started off my blog post by revealing that on last Sunday night, today's Tuesday, so on Sunday night I consumed approximately 1970 calories in one meal at one dinner time, and that was just by eating from the array of snack foods that were in front of me on the picnic blanket, because I went to Carols by Candlelight, and on the picnic in front of me with my friend who's also vegan, we had a massive array of food. We had like lots of chips and dip and Turkish bread, falafel, juice, blah 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 blah. That's all on the blog post if you want to read that yourself. But I ate a lot of food. That night really inspired me to talk about this, to a wider audience, because by the definition set out by the dictionary or like the internet or whatever, I binged on Sunday night. It was a binge. So that, according to different definitions, I overate, I indulged, it was a binge eat. And even more important, I think, is the fact that throughout that whole day, I hadn't been saving up for that meal as perhaps I once would have done if I didn't know exactly what I was going to eat for dinner. Once upon a time I would have, really tried to restrict myself throughout the day so that I could eat in abundance at the end of the day. But honestly, I had not even considered that I would eat anywhere near that to the extent that I did that night. And as a result, I ate, a good extra 2,000 calories even before that meal was added on. So a couple of hours before that meal, I ate a kilo of grapes along with lots of like salty kind of veggie crisps. I had a large salad at lunchtime. Like, I hadn't at all prepared for, a binge that evening. So I think it's important that I talk about how that affected me and why I really want to talk about binge eating today, especially binge eating in regards to having come from a restrictive eating disorder like I have. So veganism for me has been a way of overcoming my eating disorder. Learning to eat what I want to eat, when I want to eat, how I want to eat, how to eat in abundance, how to listen to my hunger, and how to listen to my mental cravings as well as what my body is telling me it wants. So not only when my tummy is hungry, but when my mind is saying I really want to eat something. So veganism for me, and learning about veganism and learning more about nutrition and the importance of carbohydrates has all been so instrumental in me overcoming my eating disorder, getting into recovery and fully recovering from anorexia. which I did a couple of months ago, and I would say that now I'm fully recovered. And on the flip side, veganism has introduced me to the world of overeating, which I hadn't done in years and years before I found this lifestyle. Veganism has let me eat as much as I want because I know how important nourishing my body is. I know how important it is to have fuel and to be fueled and to have energy. I know how important it is that I eat lots of whole food, lots of carbohydrates, lots of fruit, lots of veggies, grains, beans, legumes, nuts, all that kind of stuff. I know now how important it is and how easy it is for my body to use that energy that I give it, as long as I give it in the right form. And as a result of that, I'm eating as much as I want, and I'm eating in abundance. And I would say, which is the topic of this video, often even creeping into overeating. So the only time during my eating disorder that I have really overeaten has been in hospital, when I've been forced to eat the meal that's in front of me. I've had to force it into my stomach whether I wanted it or not, because someone would be supervising me and I'd have to get that food down. And that's the only time in these few years that I've actually let myself, given myself permission to eat everything, even if I was full. Because every other time I would eat what was on the plate, I might be hungry still, but after that the meal was finished, the meal was done, there was no more food, dinner was over, lunch was over, whatever, and I would just have to wait until the next meal, despite whether I was hungry or not. And since moving to veganism and since fully getting over my eating disorder, I have learned to respond to my hunger and to keep responding to my hunger until I feel satiated. And that's been a massive, massive change for me. And it's like this huge mental transition from going from only eating at certain times of the day, certain meals and certain amounts, to eating what I wanted when I wanted. And that's been amazing. Without having gone into hospital, I wouldn't have remembered what overeating felt like. And all of a sudden, in the last few weeks, I am overeating. I am filling myself with food to the point where I feel sick, and like I'm not mentally disturbed, but definitely I can feel that I am very full, and it's making me, my tummy stretch, and it's making me feel bloated, and it's making me feel really like, coming from anorexia, a restrictive eating disorder, where everything I eat is monitored and everything I consume is restrictive, and it's all in certain amounts and all at certain times. Coming from that, moving to veganism, when I learned that it is okay to fuel your body as long as you fuel it with the right things. You're not harming any animals, because that is so important. We don't need to eat the bodies of dead animals to live, or their secretions. That's just ridiculous. When I fuel my body right and I put in the right energy, it can do what it wants. And I've moved even further to teaching myself that I have to eat what is in front of me, or it's all going to go. And that's something that I've really instilled in myself, and something that I'm really struggling with at the moment. I don't want to say that I'm struggling with it, because I don't want to view whatever this is as a struggle of overeating, because I have spent so long forcing my body into deprivation, forcing my body to undereat, to not have enough nutrients, to run and perform off not enough nutrients in it. I've forced it to go into caloric deficits and still try to do its normal everyday activities. And in between those times of starvation, I have been in and out of hospital. My weight has been up and down crazy amounts. I've been overfed, I've been underfed, I've been overnourished, I've been undernourished. All this crazy stuff has gone on with my digestion and my nutrition and my diet. And I don't want to come to this stage in my life and be like, oh, well, I'm overeating. This is a binge phase. What am I going to do? And I don't want to view it as a struggle, because my body doesn't deserve that and my mind doesn't deserve that. And so I'm not going to call this a struggle. I'm not going to call this a difficult time or a turmoil, because it's not any of those things. It's something that's happening right now, and it's something that I really think needs to be talked about. So last Sunday at the Carols night, it's all up on the blog, exactly what I had all day and exactly what I had at the Carols, but I would have, reached 4,000 calories that day very, very easily. And by the end of the night, I was in a lot of pain. My tummy was stretched, my ribs hurt, the front of my belly hurt, my head hurt because of all the food that was in me, and yet I had reached satiety a couple of hours before I stopped eating. I had become full, and I had registered that I'd become full, but I kept eating. And here's why I kept eating. Because of my mental hunger. This is where we can fall into those patterns of binging and restricting and binging and restricting and binging and restricting. And binges are the result of having gone periods of deprivation, and your body needing to get that fuel into it so it can keep living. And people will swing in and out of these, and this is why diets don't work, and this is why, diets are semi-starvation plans, and low-carb diets have been called keep yourself sick diets, because your body can't survive in a caloric deficit. It literally can't. No one's body can. No animal on this planet can survive without enough nutrients to keep all its organs running and to keep all its muscles doing the things that you're trying to ask it to do throughout the day. So instead of doing what I've done for years and making myself stop eating and saying, no, you know what, you've had 2 Turkish breads, that's enough, I said, fuck it. I said, you know what, I want another Turkish bread, I want another 4 falafels, I want to drink this half litre of juice. And I kept going, and I was pounding the food in, and I know I was full, but my brain would not stop telling me that I needed more food. And eventually it got to a point where I couldn't fit any more food in, and finally my brain clicked off. It was at the point where I couldn't fit any more food in my bloated tummy that my brain stopped saying, you need to keep eating. And it said, okay, it's time to stop. And I am so damn glad that I listened to my body and to my brain that night, because otherwise I wouldn't have had this realization that it doesn't matter what you call it, binge eating is the result of having gone a period of time in your life, I don't care when it was, without giving your body enough fuel. And I know that I have been through periods in my life where I have not given my body enough fuel. And not only my body, but my brain. And this is so important. Mental hunger is just as important as physical hunger, because honestly, your brain knows a lot more than your body does. Your body doesn't have a memory. It doesn't remember when lunch was. It doesn't think when dinner will be. It can only take cues externally and internally and from your brain. Your hypothalamus sends messages to your stomach about whether it's hungry or not. And that's why it's important to listen to mental hunger, because if your body isn't getting the right cues to tell you what it needs, your brain will step in for it, and it will crave foods that have the nutrients that your body needs. It will crave energy, fat, salt, sugar, carbohydrates, protein. It will crave foods rich in the nutrients that you need. So I craved bread. I really craved bread. I craved those Turkish pitas, and I craved the falafel, and I craved the carbs, not because I'm restricting carbs now, but because this time a year ago I was restricting, and I was always calculating what I ate. I was always on calorie counters. I was always mentally obsessed with what I was eating and fixated on the food that was going into my body. Now that after I've had these few weeks of giving my body abundance to eat what it wants, it's finally registering that it needs more food, and my brain's coming back and it's saying, oh my god, are you actually going to feed me now? This is amazing. Have all the food, because I don't know if it's going to come back again. And you know what? I'm going to have all the food because I need my body and my brain to know that it's okay, and that soon, the food, it's not going to go away again. I'm not going to take the food away again. I'm going to keep nourishing this, because this body has got me through so much, and I have nearly destroyed it so many times, and it's had enough. If it craves 40 meals a day, I'm going to give it 40 meals a day. And I'm tired of caring about how much I eat, and I just want to listen to my mental and physical hunger. Not listening to those hungers will have such a detrimental impact on you and on me in the future. We'll keep going down this slide of continually depriving ourselves of both what we mentally and physically need, and eventually we'll be in such deprivation and such deficit that our bodies just won't know what to do. And I don't want to get to that stage. I don't want to be there. And sometimes when I'm stuffing food into my face and I have to finish everything that's on my plate, and the bowl's been this high and I'm full and I'm feeling like, what is this supposed to be? I used to have anorexia. I shut those thoughts up because they are not necessary, because my brain knows what it wants. And if it wants to eat all the food that's in that bowl, then I'm going to let it. It might take a few months. It might take much longer than that. It might take much shorter than that. But eventually I know there'll come a stage where my brain will stop craving all the food that is in front of me and telling me to eat every little thing that I can. But I have to give it time. I have to let my body trust me again. I have to let it know that I am going to give it what it wants when it wants it, because it doesn't know that. It's in a pattern of being properly fed at a hospital, coming out, restricting physically and mentally, having really tough rules imposed on it, and being exhausted. And I don't want to do that to my body anymore, because I respect it and it deserves so much more than that. And this is why I'm not going to call this phase of my life a struggle, because it's the result of my body struggling in the past. It's a struggle that I've brought on myself, and it's something that I'm going to get through. And right now, I may be finding it difficult to accept the fact that I'm eating so much food and that I can't stop putting food into my mouth, and that I have to eat what's in front of me, or I have to eat as much as I can from what's in front of me. But all I'm doing is taking a step back and realizing that this is my brain's response to years of being deprived of its cravings and what it needed. And I'm damn well going to give it what it wants, because our bodies deserve that. If today I've eaten porridge with a cup of oats and almonds and a banana and some chocolate on it, then I went and had my first lunch, which was an apple, a kiwi fruit and heaps of strawberries, a pot of soy yogurt and heaps of muesli. And then I had my second lunch, which was quinoa and beans and corn and peas and tomatoes and avocado. And I'll probably have more, because it feels amazing to have this mental clarity and to be able to give my body this freedom to eat what it wants to eat. It's an amazing feeling, and I can't get over how proud I am of myself and how far I've come. And I know that if I now start telling myself that I can't be eating as much as I want to eat, I'll go backwards, because I have to let myself recover properly. I have to let this happen. I know that I'm mentally recovered. I know that I'm in remission and that I'm as good as I'm ever going to be. But I've got to let the process take its toll for a little bit longer, or a lot longer. Who knows how long it's going to be. And eventually, I truly believe that things are going to settle out and it's all going to be okay. And I just want to leave you with a message today that you need to give your body and your brain what it wants, because it's pretty smart, it's pretty clever, and it's done a lot for you. And the more you deprive yourself of your cravings, the more you're going to want them, and the more you're ruining your body, the more you're upsetting the balance, the homeostasis that your body's trying to maintain. So please respect these beautiful vessels of life that we have, and I will see you in another video. Listen to your brain and your hunger. Don't think of binging as binging, because all that's going to do is make you feel guilty and make you want to deprive yourself even more. Think of it as something that needs to happen for you to reach optimal health mentally and physically. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.